race fans, and welcome to a beautiful sunny afternoon here in Florida. I am your host, Gareth McAllister, bringing you the action here tonight for the American Sim Racing Club and their Advantage Auction Super Late Model Tour. Nice to have you here tonight. Also brought to you by Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, bringing you the action 1080p 60 FPS, provided our Australian internet can handle it. Welcome back for all our returning viewers, and welcome to those who have not potentially seen before just what this series is all about and what it's known for. But what it is known for is absolute intense, chaotic, beautiful rim to rim racing as we go around the short tracks. We are at Five Flags Speedway. We've got 0 sets of additional tires. Single file restart. It's going to be very close as we get qualifying underway. Devin McDonald is going to be the very first one on track, so we're currently watching him as he goes around, the lone Canadian in the series. Doesn't look like a massive turnout here tonight, so a little bit unfortunate in that regard, but otherwise I'm sure we'll still have some crazy action here for you. As Tim Rogers actually puts up the fastest lap at the moment with a 16.71. Just behind him, Peyton will go into the second spot ahead of Devin McDonald. John DeMista currently sitting in fourth. Swank straight up into pole, 16.6. Coming into tonight, the main talking point is going to be Andrew Payne leading Hayden Swank by one single point. And speak of the devil, there goes Payne. He's just made his way through for his final flying lap, and he's going to be on the pole for the qualifying run. So he has got something dialed in, as he usually does. Andrew Payne with the Payne train is always making his way through the field, letting everyone know that he is there right at the top of the table for a reason. Now, we've had 6 different winners in the past 7 races, so quite a good solid field here, which we always are used to seeing. Race 8 out of 12 getting to the pointy end of the season. The heat races are going to be 8 laps long. Feature race is going to be a nice even 100 laps in this half a mile oval here at Five Flags. Should be a good one as we're watching Eric Hahn make his way around quite slowly, probably doing a little bit of practice. Hit entry just in case. No, misses it. So looks like he's actually going to get dialed in and get one more lap done. So we'll see if he can fit that in really quick before qualifying ends. So we are getting ready. So we're hitting speeds of around about 120 to 25 miles an hour here at Five Flags in Florida. And we have to thank, as always, Advantage Auction for coming on board, sponsoring the entire rest of the season since they came on board as a major sponsor around about 5 or 6 weeks ago. So great to see as the pace truck seems to have a little bit of a bounce, a bit of fun going on there. Get ready to grid up for our first heat race of the night. So it's going to be Eric Hahn starting on pole, Donovan Carty in second position, John Kane in third, Charles Darling sitting in fourth. In fifth, Nick Fleury. In sixth, Stephen Hoffman. Andrew Payne is going to be in seventh. And we're showing Tanner Tallarico, as we all know, if you've seen past races, you know from experience that Tanner Tallarico is actually our head of, well, basically the head of everything, really. In this series, he organizes everything, makes sure everything is done, our race control, our organizer, our everything. And we are very thankful to him. Unfortunately, we do have him showing up as a driver tonight. He is not going to be a driver tonight. So we will only have 7 cars out of the 8 showing, appearing on the grid. As I was saying earlier, advantage-auctions.com will find some crazy deals on some nice big wholesale items that you can get from any big major stores. You can bid on them against any other people and maybe get something cheaper than you would for the retail price. So definitely check them out for some good deals on anything you may or may not want. As it looks like the field is going to stay in the gridded order for once on the heat races, so that is good to see. We get ready to send them off for heat race number 1. Khan is going to be on the inside line. Donovan Carty alongside the heat. The sun has been bearing down on turn 3 especially. As we get underway, it's going to make it quite interesting as Eric Hahn continues to stay on the low side. Donovan Carty up very wide, almost allowing a 3-car gap. Not quite. Darling thought about it, decided against it. Probably a smarter move. As Hahn, it looks like, has gone for a bit of a spin. And are we going to have... We're not having a caution. We're going to keep on going around. As Donovan Carty, the number 3 machine, is going to continue to lead this one. Charles Darling up in 2nd position. Stephen Hoffman in 3rd, right behind, not too far behind. Payne making his way around John Kane, going side by side. Definitely something to watch there. Andrew Payne making his way through. Charles Darling still being worked on by Stephen Hoffman just behind. See there, Charles Darling really trying to keep Stephen Hoffman behind him. Andrew Payne is trying to take advantage of being underneath Stephen Hoffman's 23 machine. Not quite able to do it though. The sun really strong down there in turn 3 and 4. 1 and 2 is a little bit nicer to look at as we get our paints reloaded. Excuse the late reloading of that as we joined in at a very inopportune time. Donovan Carty still holds on to a nice lead. Charles Darling just set the fastest lap of the race with a 16.69. So he is charging to try and catch Donovan Carty. Carty up front though, gonna hold on. This is fairly nice elite racing here at the front. As checkered flag will fly. Carty takes it home. Darling in 2nd. Hoffman in 3rd. Payne, Fleury, Payne, and Eric Hahn is going to be in 7th position. Great racing for the very first race. First heat race of the night. There's the paint jobs we all know and love. Apologies for that once again. As we get them loaded in for you. So, starting on pole for heat race number 2, and I believe we're only going to have 2 heat races. It looks like a slightly smaller field than would normally see, so we're going to get this one rolling with John DeMister. He's actually going to be starting on pole for this one. Dante Hewer alongside Devin McDonald and David Payton in row 2. Tim Rogers and Ron Hart in row 3. And Hayden Swank is going to be your driver alongside Brett Hahn. Doesn't appear to have started, so John DeMister is also going to be staying back behind, taking a little bit of a penalty, I believe, to start a little bit further back in the field than what he was scheduled to do. Rogers just behind him as well. Brett the Jet Hahn seems to be staying down pit road at the moment. Potential problems in the pit area for him. We get ready to do heat race number 2. Go around one final time. So it's going to be Hewer up front on the high side. Devin McDonald just below him. Our lone Canadian, David Payton, Ron Hart are going to be in the second row. John DeMista and Tim Rogers. And then Swank is going to have dropped back to the tail end of the longest line. So Swank and Payne, one position in it. Mind you again, Payne did not win his last heat race. I believe he finished up in the third spot, so we'll keep an eye on that. Or fourth or so, Dante Hewer gets left in the dust. Devin McDonald gets a nice run on the inside. Ron Hart tries to take advantage as well, as Hewer has a little bit of a bobble on the high side. Hart going underneath, looking very angry, that machine, as it goes for a spin. 51. Caution comes out. That was a beautiful pirouette. Sign him up for some dancing classes, as John DeMister is also showing in the wall. So we saw how that unfolded with Ron. Oh, I pressed to fast forward. Not do that. So we can see DeMister coming up and just looks like getting close to tagging the outside wall. And just gets a little bit loose as well. So two separate incidents happening right on top of each other. So that is an unfortunate one to see, as that is going to be our first caution for the entirety of tonight. Asking a lot of these drivers what they thought about what the racing is going to be like tonight. And they said, we reckon we'll stay green for the majority of it. So we'll see how that pans out, as Devin McDonald takes a nice jump on the start, as we're used to seeing from the leader here. Dante Hewer right behind, not too far. Devin Payton a little bit of a gap, a little bit further back to him. Mister is struggling a little bit as we go further back. Tim Rogers is trying to go around the high side of Hayden Swank. Excuse me, Hayden Swank probably went underneath Tim Rogers, as Swank started behind him. Ron Hart also goes through. Swank trying to do something now underneath. That's going to be DeMister there with a little bit of front end damage on the left-hand side. Trying to go three wide, thinking about it, looking for it. John DeMister decides to stay up high. Good decision. Swank and Hart still side by side, a little bit further up front. We haven't been watching it, but we saw it in our peripheral vision. Payton goes underneath Hewer to take that second spot away. McDonald is going to be absolutely in love with what is happening behind him, as the two drivers keep going side by side, opening a little bit of a gap to himself. As he continues the charge forward. Just a little bit further back, Hayden Swank sitting in that fourth spot. We believe that is where Andrew Payne finished in his heat race, if my memory serves me right. So Hayden Swank probably desperate to get that one extra position, which will serve him well heading into the feature race. The points tally very, very close. As he looks to the inside, almost gets loose, checks it up, able to hold on to it. Hewer goes wide, allows him the room. Hewer's still there though, as Swank can't take it decisively, but does so right at the end, and Ron Hart's going to get himself involved. Not quite able to do it though. Swank takes home third. McDonald and Payton were your top two. Ron Hart, Devin Hewer, Tim Rogers, and DeMister, with Brett the Jet Hahn taking up the rear of results. So as we get ready for the warm-up here tonight, because we have a 2-minute warm-up for these drivers, just to get a little bit settled down after the heat races. Just, you know, take your time, breathe, get ready for 100 full laps here. As this track opened in 1953, so 70 years ago. That is a very long time ago. Banking 15 degrees in the corners. Quite a lot of banking to help these drivers stay on the throttle as long as they can. A very abrasive surface, excuse me, here tonight. So it could turn out to be very interesting as to how the tire strategy pays off. We don't have an extra set of tires over the wall. So that could definitely pay dividends to some of these drivers who are very good at saving their tires for the latest end of the race. And finally, a little bit of notes about this track. This track, Five Flags Speedway, hosts the Snowball Derby, which is one of the most prestigious super late model events in the entirety of the US of A. So this track, definitely no stranger to seeing a lot of action. Snowball Derby, 300 laps, I believe, is when I looked it up last time by. We're only going a third of that, but it's going to be something spectacular regardless to witness these super late models absolutely hammering it around here. And some shadows just starting to creep in. Sun going down ever so slightly. You can see it's moved from where it was in the heat races over turn 3 to being more on the entry into turn 1 and the exit of turn 4. So it should be a good one as we get ready to get gridded up for big major event, the feature here tonight. So we're going to have Donovan Carty starting on pole, Devin McDonald alongside in the second position, Charles Darling and David Payton in your second row, Stephen Hoffman, Hayden Swank going to be in your third row, Andrew Payne right behind Hayden Swank on the other side, on the inside line, so definitely the preferred line. Should be an interesting start to the race with those two so close together. Starting just behind him, Ron Hart, certainly no stranger to victory either. Starting in the fourth line, Nick Fleury and Dante Hewer are going to be in your fifth row. John Kane, Tim Rogers are going to be in your sixth row. Cycling it on back, Eric Hahn is going to be in your seventh row, and alongside him is going to be John DeMister. We're also showing Brett the Jet Hahn once again not starting on the grid, so not sure what's happening to him. We are showing him there. And as we know, Tanner Tallarico unfortunately being shown once again, but we all know that is not the case. So, we are definitely set to go and get ready as that number 3 machine, very iconic paint job, Dale Earnhardt inspired. There is no doubt about that at all. He's going to be taking the green flag here. Let us know in the comments of the YouTube side of things who you're going to be cheering on, and I will try and get the camera pointed their direction, give a little bit of a talk if I can, and see how they are doing in tonight's race. As we have Hayden Swank dropping back to the tail end of the field, potential penalty coming for him there, so Andrew Payne going to be very relieved to see that one go down. As the pace truck is going to make the hard left turn just now. We get ready to rock and roll. Donovan Carty gets a nice run. McDonald is right alongside with him, though. Fantastic from the Canadian driver. So they're going to go side by side and continue to be so for a little while longer. Just behind them, Peyton and Ron Hart going side by side as well. Ron Hart's got the preferred inside line. We say preferred. Devin McDonald is making us eat those words as he's slightly in front of Donovan Carty. Now switching back. They're definitely going side by side as McDonald squeezes into line right behind the number 3 machine of Donovan Carty. Not too far behind there. You can see the smorgasbord of how many drivers, only showing about 15 on track, but certainly no shortage of action. And right as I say that, yellow flag has come out. Not sure who it's for. Our live timing software has picked up nothing at all. Have a look. The Hewer was the last thing we saw. Oh, and yep, there it is. DeMister still struggling with the handling of his car. We'll go and get that one looked at for you once again. So it looks like Swank sent it up the inside, but nothing doing there. Didn't actually touch. The Mister tried to get as much acceleration as possible out of the corner. Swank tried to avoid. Unfortunately got in the back of him. But just barely gets a love tap on the side as well. Not much doing though. Shouldn't need to come down for any of that. And the Mister gets it pointed back in the right direction. So we get ready to go back to green once again. Very short pace laps. Cardi, McDonald, Darling, Hart, and Payton. Your top 5 as they take the green flag. Oh, McDonald gets a really nice run into T1. Coming out of turn 2 is going to be side by side. That's fantastic racing. McDonald has figured something out and figured it out fast, as he has made his way into the lead now. Number 3 machine is going to be wanting to cut back down and does so. Just behind them, not too far behind, Ron Hart and Payton were side by side. Payton has fell back in line behind Ron Hart. Hoffman clicked off the fastest lap of the race so far with a 16.5 back in the 7th position. He has the Payne train, Andrew Payne, working his way, trying to get around, and there it goes. The commentator's curse coming back to strike. We're going to stay green though. Fantastic avoidance from Stephen Hoffman, making that any worse than it had to be. Andrew Payne also involved in that one. Thankfully not hurting him too much at all. As Fleury is going to be underneath, almost tags into the side of Payne, but not quite able to do so. John Kane is now having a go, trying to get around Stephen Hoffman after the earlier bobble. Hoffman says no, and Hoffman will take that spot back, as the lead is looking very, very close indeed. We're going to pan back to that because McDonald is under fire from Cardi, under fire hard, as all these drivers very, very close together, and we are used to seeing this kind of driving out of these drivers here at Five Flags. It's incredible to watch. This track's so small, but providing so much action. We're used to seeing that all across the track in all sorts of places. Just happens to be Florida, a nice sunny afternoon. And McDonald's still leading the race. Tim Rogers in a sandwich, absolute sandwich right now, as he goes underneath David Payton. It's going to take that position away. Thank you very much to Ron Hart being just in front of Payton, checking up a little bit hard. Payton had to go high to avoid. Running into the back of Hart, and Rogers is trying to take advantage. Gets a little bit loose on entry though. Payton, with an absolutely heroic move on the outside line, makes it stick and falls back in. Not losing a single spot. How he's done it, I do not know. A little bit further back, just at the back of this field. It's going to be all the way from 1st to 8th. This front pack not separated by much at all. So you can see just how close they all are on track. Fanning out just a little bit now. Slightly higher line from Rogers there. Don't want to open the door up like that when you've got someone like Andrew Payne right behind you. He will stick his nose in there and he will make it work. We've seen the talent out of that 93 machine constantly, time and time again. And speaking of, Andrew Payne just trying what we were talking about a second ago. As Rogers goes a little bit wide and Payne goes underneath, making that pass stick. Payne is going to make that one happen. Fleury is going to try and follow him through, so he can stick Rogers on that high side and gain that extra spot. So now it's going to be McDonald, Carty, Darling, Hart, Payton, Payne, Fleury, and Rogers all so unbelievably close together in a nice tight train. And there you can see again, Payne is going to make the move on Payton. Payton just ran a little bit wide out of the exit. Payne not able to make anything happen though, surprisingly. Well, Payne is going to be caught on the high side now as he bumps doors with Fleury. Fleury spins around. Able to check it up pretty quick, get it dialed in. Great driving from Nick Fleury. As he gets back pointed in the right direction. Meanwhile, Devin McDonald has caught to the tail end. That's going to be Eric Hahn. Eric Hahn goes wide to let the leaders go through, trying not to be involved in this lead battle. As Devin McDonald has not had a win yet in this series, or in this season, so he is absolutely desperate and looking for one. Donovan Carty also not had a win, neither has Charles Darling. Your top three, all winless so far, desperate to get one, and all drivers that are very much deserving of one, in my opinion. As we reach a quarter of the way through, Andrew Payne is very much on the rear end of David Payton. But Payton not letting him see even the slightest gap, doing a very good job to fend off Andrew Payne. And Andrew Payne does not want to look now, but in his rear view, Hayden Swank is slowly but surely clawing his way up. See Payne there in the 93, just a little bit further back. There's Rogers, and there is Swank halfway through the corner. It's almost like I'm a fortune teller, or Payne is listening in as he tries to make his way around David Payton. Wasn't able to do so. Snokes back in line, almost loses the rear end. Take it easy. Payne gets himself situated back once again behind David Payton. There's Rogers and there's Swank. Not too far behind when you think about it. It's about a second and a half, so I guess it is a fair distance when I think about how small the track is, but Swank, we know, has the pace to definitely contend with Andrew Payne. And Payne is just being absolutely checked up at the moment by David Payton. Ron Hart, your highest runner at the moment that has had a previous race win. Currently sitting in the 4th spot, trying to claw his way up to Charles Darling. And you can just see the closest battle on track, as I'm sure you would be able to take a good guess, is definitely Payton and Payne. As Payton is trying desperately to find a way around and just cannot do so. It's turning into a very close race. Speaking of up front, Hardy and McDonald got very, very close to each other. Hardy has worked out how to get the run on exit. Look at that, going a little bit high and cutting the corner as much as possible to get the straight line speed on exit. And McDonald is really under fire now. As there we go. Payne has made the move to the inside of Peyton. Able to stick it in there. Peyton's going to have to let him go. Payne loses the rear end just a bit. Bobbles it up. Not enough space for Peyton to go through. Peyton's going to have to deal with it. Checks up a little bit behind Payne and they get sorted out. As we go back up front, because this battle is not over yet by a long shot, as McDonald and Cardi continue to throw hands. This race is going by so quick, but already almost at halfway. 41 laps completed out of 100. We're getting there slowly but surely. McDonald is keeping a nice lead and keeping it calm in front of Cardi. Cardi is trying everything, and speaking of, that's something you do not want to try, as he has slid it round, tags the inside wall, and gets it fired back up and going again, but that's going to drop him from 2nd to 6th in the standings. So Payne is going to be very happy about that, as well as everyone else. Charles Darling, Ron Hart, Peyton as well. All going to be happy to see that one happen. Definitely not what I wanted to see for Donovan Cardi. He was looking like a very strong contender for this one. So McDonald is going to be over the moon with that one, I believe, because he is going to feel like a pressure. Big weight has just been lifted. As I say that, though, it does look like Charles Darling is catching ever so slightly, just a very small, maybe a 10th here or there. Maybe a 10th or 2 per lap, but not a 10th or 2 per lap, that's too much. A 100th or 2 per lap, excuse me. So they're staying pretty even right now. So they're at about 7/10 second between McDonald and Darling. Hart, we've seen a lot of pace out of Hart in previous races. Can't seem to get it worked out as well as he wants. This race here tonight, 3rd, definitely nothing to sneeze at. Payne now is in 4th position. His championship hopes looking very much alive right now. As I know, we still have 3 races after this, heading towards the end of the season. Sorry, 4 races after this. But I can't help myself getting a bit excited for the championship implications that are happening, unfolding before my very eyes. As I say that, closest battle on track, Hayden Swank has caught up to Tim Rogers. And he is 1 single point behind Payne in the championship. It's one thing to catch up to a car, it's another thing entirely to make that pass. Swank has made that pass, though. As I said how difficult it would be, it almost looked like Rogers was a little bit tentative, not wanting to get involved in any kind of incident, so Hayden Swank was waved on through. It's almost what it looked like. I'm not sure if that was what it was like behind the wheel, because these machines definitely hard to handle. As you can see, we pan back to the leader at the moment, so championship leader Andrew Payne currently sitting in 4th. He has Peyton and has clawed his way back up to Andrew Payne. That's John DeMister, the high side, going a lap down. Number 2 machine, so he will make way for the leaders as they tuck their way down the inside. Swank is going to make that move on Donovan Cardy now. Should have got that one a little bit quicker. Apologize for that, but Hayden Swank has made that move on Donovan Cardy, and he is climbing up the standings. Only 1 point between him and Payne. I'm going to keep on talking about it as it's the biggest thing going on in the championship right now, and right between the two of them is David Payton. Payton, one of those drivers that we know is no stranger to being able to be very confident in his own abilities and making his car as wide as possible to make it very difficult for some other drivers to make their way through. So this could be an interesting challenge for sure. As we've got a yellow flag coming out, John DeMister, oh no! We hope he has not collected another driver involved in this incident. So it just gets too much. Whoa! Far too much acceleration out of the corner. Oh, almost goes up into Fleury. Oh, that was very, very close. Yeah, just goes a little bit too quick on exit. Just gets up on the wall and just goes around and very nearly collects Fleury there. Very, very close indeed. Eric Hahn, you could see just there as we panned back to the leaders, is going to go around one more lap. Get a lap back. See the drivers at the moment showing the standings. McDonald, Darling, Hart, Payne, and Payton going to be your top 5. Swank sitting in 6th. Is definitely hungry. Deservedly so. Our lone Canadian in the 18 machine, certainly showing what the Canadians can do up front. You have a sea of blue, red, and white behind him. I'm not gonna lie, I was expecting these caution flags because they've been going by so quickly. I was expecting a little bit shorter of a pace around, which is why I was so quick to end the replays. Would have queued up another one in that time, so my apologies there. Just to see exactly how close Fleury was to rear end of Demisto. It looked very close indeed. Get ready for our single file start. McDonald takes the green. Nice, very nice, clean start. Charles Darling in 2nd, left a little bit wanting, as is what we've seen before, but nice big dive from Hayden Swank straight away on Payton. Going to take that position there right in front of him. You can see in his sights Andrew Payne. This could get dicey, ladies and gentlemen. This could get very interesting indeed. As all of these cars very close together, you can see some dust up there just behind. Drivers scraping the wall a tiny bit. Rogers goes side by side almost. Like trying to take a spot from Cardi, but it didn't work. Now under fire from Hoffman, who dives to the inside. Rogers sees him there, but doesn't need to give him the room and doesn't. As Rogers now is checked up slightly higher behind Cardi, so here comes Hoffman. Hoffman's making the move. They're going to continue to stay side by side. Rogers not wanting to give it up easily. So they're going to continue to stay side by side. Oh, and a little bit of a wall tap from Rogers and Hoffman. That looked absolutely crazy. They both get underway again. Hoffman worse for wear definitely than Rogers, as that looked like a little bit of craziness, but we're going to stay green, so that is good news for all the front runners as they are nose to tail. So far back all the way to Donovan Cardi and David Payton back here in the 6th position. Cardi looks like he's going to, excuse me, my voice is a little bit on struggle street at the moment as Donovan Cardi tries to take that spot back. As we saw earlier on, Cardi was in 2nd position. Oh no, more wall taps. What is going on? Swank, no! Rubbing the wall. Trying to Ross Chastain around, unable to do so. And he is going to fall back, and we've got Charles Darling going for a spin. What in the world? It just descended into chaos. Charles Darling. A replay queued up on that one. So a little bit of a bump there with the 3 machine. And Cardi thought he still had the nose there. Darling didn't think he had enough room. And Darling goes for a wild ride. Like the Mister is going to take the wave around, but look at this. I don't know what we were missing when we were just looking slightly further back, but we must have missed some crazy stuff because we're showing Ron Hart up in the lead. Cue this up real quick if we can to see how that battle unfolded and how he was able to take the lead. And oh, there it is. A little bit of craziness. That's when the caution came out just after that. And Ron Hart took the lead decisively there. All right, we were afraid we were going to miss the start, but we've got one more to go, so that's okay. There we go. So that's how the lead was taken away. Pace truck's lights are going to go off this time, and they do so. Get ready to go. 30 laps to go in this one. Third caution of the night. McDonald not going to be happy that he's had to give up that spot to Ron Hart. Has been a previous winner. McDonald obviously not having a win to his name as of yet. Swank having that issue falling a ways back. Andrew Payne very happy to see that one unfold. As we get ready to go rock and roll, and once again, here we go. Ron Hart with a huge lead straight away. Andrew Payne trying to take advantage of a little bit of a sleep from Devon McDonald and able to get it done. McDonald has some damage on the right side. Didn't see that one, probably from the contact with the wall when that pass was made. And the craziness that was ensuing and unfolding before our eyes in the replay there. As Fleury looks to now take advantage. Unable to do so. A bit further back, Rogers looked very, very close there for a second. John Kane. Kane sitting in the 8th spot at the moment, doing a very good job. Rogers with a close battle with Hoffman here as Hoffman tries to take the spot away. Rogers going very, very wide. Hoffman is going to take the spot away due to that. We've got some close, tight battling. Andrew Payne and Ron Hart have checked out just about half a second ahead of McDonald, Fleury, Cardi. And just behind them, Swank is making his way back through after his tangle with the wall. Cardi getting a very big bobble. Getting very, very loose. Swank looking to take advantage. Gets a very big run. And is definitely going to have the inside line. Heading into turn 3. Coming out of 4. Going to be side by side. Swank is going to take that position away. And just behind them, they're also side by side. Kane underneath Peyton. It's going to be for 7th spot. Peyton holding well on that high side though, doing a very good job. And continuing to do so. This battle is not ending anytime soon. And of course, as I say that, Peyton needs one big run to make it around. And does so. Checks up straight in front. Little bit of a battle going on up here. McDonald. Swank takes the position away as well. The 4th position. Hardy's going to try and follow him through as well underneath the Canadian. McDonald, who led almost the entirety of the race so far, and Swank gets tagged. And Swank goes around. Swank gets hit multiple times. Still keeps on. The hits keep coming. And there's going to be a caution come out. That did not stop. Going to follow John Kane. So Kane gets hit a little bit from Hoffman, nothing doing though, and then comes into this mess going on in front of him. Tries to squeeze the gap, but Swank is still loose and clogs down 4 wide at 5 flags. Might have 4 flags, but you can't fit 5 flags, but you can't fit 4 cars. I messed that one up, but that was about to sound really good as Hoffman comes in there as well and tags Kane. Gonna go back and look at Swank. Grab Swank, there he is. So Swank went very, very wide, opened the door for the number 3 machine. And Cardi tried to take advantage. Not quite enough room on exit. Tries to overcorrect. Gets into McDonald. Peyton also gets involved there. Big shove into the back of Swank. And then the 4 wide happens that we were so not expecting to see at this tiny track. And really Kane gets the absolute butt of that joke as he gets clobbered into the wall by Hayden Swank as they were both coming down after that wreck. So Hart, Payne, Fleury, McDonald, and Swank are going to be your top 5. So even after that craziness, McDonald and Swank still staying in the top 5. Incredible stuff. Unbelievable as we got 20 to go. Ron Hart gets a very nice jump as we're so used to out of him. Ron Hart, one of the best starters as we know on restarts. Payne in second, Fleury just behind. Swank is trying to make that move on McDonald once again. This time no Cardi to get his nose in the mix. Swank is going to make that move. There's a little bit of touch on the door panel there. Nothing too bad though as McDonald squeezes in between Swank and Payton. He's going to be in 5th. And a squeeze it was as Payton almost looks like he wants that position. Right behind McDonald. McDonald runs wide. Payton throws the nose in. Trying to get it underneath there. Not able to do it though. McDonald is going to hold on to the 5th spot for now. 16 laps to go. We are winding down the clock very quickly, very rapid. Half a mile and incredibly 15 degrees of banking are going to make this track very, very quick. And we've seen that with 16.5-second lap times blitzing through this course. Is still focused a little bit back here because there's the reason why we knew Payton was going to make the move again and does so. As Payton goes around McDonald still underneath, but will make that spot work. And will cut off the over-under move that McDonald looked as though he was thinking of making. So Payton up into the 5th spot. A little bit further back that looked like Darling was going to have a move going on for Hewer. Not quite though. Rogers still going wide. Deciding on that higher line. Just ahead of Hewer here. So this is the battle for 8th. This Rogers gets tagged. Hewer stays in it with Rogers. Probably the smarter idea. If he would have turned to the right, there would have been many, many more cars involved. As we see here, just on entry, just Hewer gets a little bit too much of a run. And Rogers just was not ready. And there's a little bit of a bump. There it goes. He spins around right in front of Hewer. Hewer thankfully does not turn right. Otherwise, he would have collected Darling. And that would have been a lot worse for a lot more people. Great awareness from him. He decides to stick with the move that unfortunately was a result of tough, tight racing and gives up the spot, so Rogers still holds on to it. So, 5th caution of the night. This is getting very, very close indeed. Thank you once again to tuning in. This has been an absolute fantastic show. Thinking of a word that I can describe better than the ones I always use, which are fantastic and awesome and all the rest of it, but I just can't rack my brain at the moment, so we're gonna get ready. The excitement has taken over. My voice is coming in many cracks. It's all happening up here in the booth tonight as we get ready to go. Hopefully one final time. Ron Hart, Andrew Payne, Nick Fleury, Hayden Swank, and David Payton are going to be your top 5. Oh, and there's a little bit of a shove from Fleury to Payne on the start. Payne did not get going as quick as Fleury wanted him to, as Ron Hart got a nice shove out the front. Payne spun the tyres. Fleury said, "What are you doing? Why are you not moving?" Gave him a bit of a shove from behind. Hayden Swank is going to be right on Fleury's backside now, as there's a side-by-side going on back here. Charles Darling, Donovan Cardy trying to take that spot away on the inside line. That number 3 intimidating the 88 and makes that move stick, as Hoffman tried to go around underneath McDonald, wasn't able to do it just in front. Oh, they touch. There's a little bit of a bobble from Darling. He's going to get back up in it. Kane knows he's there. Great awareness from Kane. And Darling is going to slot back in there. Rogers is going to try and take it over. Something's happened with Peyton. He's fallen down the standings. Hoffman is getting into the outside wall, it looks like. He's falling all the way down the standings as well. There is absolute mayhem coming to the closing 10 laps of this race. It's absolutely incredible, as Eric Hahn is currently found himself in 8th position after being a lap down early on in this race. Fantastic stuff from him, and he's gone around as soon as I say anything. Back onto the track. Surely a caution is going to come out. It has not. Unbelievable. How has there not been a caution as we go back to Ron Hart making his way through? Eric Hahn just in front has got his car just recently dialed back up. There's a lot of damage there. Goes to the high side, lets the leaders pass. Looks like he's having a little bit of steering drama as he weaves and wobbles a little bit. The leaders come past. Ron Hart, Andrew Payne, Nick Fleury, the top 3. Swank not too far behind, trying desperately to catch back up as close to Payne as he possibly can. Payne, Fleury and Hart all looking for their second win of the season to match Hayden Swank, who has currently the only driver, the only car at the moment who's seen 2 victory lanes here. In this season, Ron Hart is going to take the white flag. Barney, get it ready to wave. There he goes. Underneath, Andrew Payne trying desperately to catch up and steal the win away from Hart. Fleury runs a little bit wide. Fleury has lost the drive into turn 3. Andrew Payne is not able to be close enough to make it move. And there goes your standing. So Ron Hart, Andrew Payne, and Nick Fleury are going to be your top 3 for the night. My voice felt like it was on rails as I just kept calling the action and the action kept on coming. I want to take a quick look back to see if we can get a look at Han just briefly. What happened to him, as he just lost the rear end all by his lonesome just as we started talking about him. And unbelievably, a caution did not come out. The last 5 laps of the race. So there is Ron Hart celebrating there. Charles Darling alongside also celebrating. Hart doing his trademark. I'm going to do burnouts all the way around the track if I can. And there's a little bit too much, but he's going to celebrate anyway as he bumps into the pit lane wall. He doesn't care. The race is over and he's won it. Celebrate in style, my friend. We're going to get ready to get them up into the booth with me. So first of all is definitely going to be Nick Fleury. I see a Fleury up here. I do. He's in the waiting room. What an absolute legend. G'day, Nick Fleury. How's it going, mate?
Not too bad. Happy Australian Day.
Thank you very much. I did not mention that on the broadcast, but since you've brought it up, I may as well. It is Australia Day at the moment, well, on the 26th, but for me it is the 26th, so yep, I'm doing my celebrations by watching you folks go around the track and doing an amazing job of it.
Is there any better way?
I do not think I know of one, to be honest with you. So, I should get straight into it and just say what an amazing race that was, Nick, and it was fantastic watching you do so well. I gotta say, you're one of the drivers who I say week in, week out, got people right behind you who may or may not be faster on the day, and you are no stranger to not letting the pressure get to you. You just drive your own race and you just drive it well. Is there anything, I feel like I've asked you this before, but I'm gonna ask you again. Is there anything in particular that you do, or you just find yourself in that zone and you just go?
Yeah, like always, it's just put yourself in that zone and block out everything behind you. But tonight it was about trying to be that guy from behind, putting the pressure on the guys in front of me. And unfortunately, I was taken out a little earlier in the race, so I was playing catch up for a very long time, waiting for a caution to fall. And then I just had to cautiously make my way back up to the field and then put as much pressure as possible on there at the end.
Yeah, well, it looked like a good race though. Did you find that I probably shouldn't bring this up, but I was going to say, did you find that you had the kind of pace to be in that top three, or did it just kind of fall to you because of how all the cautions kind of worked out? It was absolute carnage towards the end of this race here at Five Flags.
I definitely wouldn't say I was a top three car per se, but I was only from the standpoint of I took care of my stuff all race. You know, I just kept it smooth, didn't get sideways, took care of those tires, and was just there at the end.
Yeah, well, that's exactly where you want to be. We did hear just on that short point you mentioned there. We did say early on that Five Flags is a notable track for abrasions and really wearing out the tire. Did you find that that was a big influence as to how you were able to get into the top three? Was saving tires over the course of that 100 lap run?
Yeah, absolutely. It's the only way I was able to come back because that early on when I fell back, I had a lot of laps there where I was just riding real slow because it was pointless to try to chase down the field. But once I got that caution, it put me right back into it, and it was time to go to work.
All right, sounds good, Nick. Well, thank you very much for using the waiting room, the only driver to do so far out of every single race this season. So, thank you very much for using that. And who would you like to give a shout out to for the third place here tonight? Such a good finish here in the afternoon here in Florida.
Yeah, firstly, always Jesus Christ. Second, my beautiful, lovely wife. Then I got to thank my sponsors, Django Home Improvement, CPM Incorporated, Mike's Garage, and my teammates over at RHU Racing. We have a lot of fun racing together, and we put together some fast race cars. And then, of course, I got to thank Advantage Auto, Advantage Auctions. Did I get it right?
Yes, you
Dang
did.
it. There we go. Advantage Auctions. They're really generous, even though they have people like me that are idiots and can't get their name correct. But we really appreciate them so much, and they do a lot for us, and we're grateful for that.
All right, well said, Nick. I'm sure we'll see you up here in the booth short time once again. We're used to seeing you up here in the booth now. You've been talking to me quite a few times, and I'm sure that second win is coming your way in the near future. Take it easy, my friend.
Thank you very much. You have a great day.
You too, Nick. All right, that was bringing it home in third position, Nick Fleury. Coming up next, we're going to bring in the Payne train, Andrew Payne. Going to steal him from his group channel. Hopefully, he's not in deep conversation with people. Andrew Payne, have you got a copy, my friend?
I got a copy.
All right, well, Andrew, I mean, what can I say other than I cannot believe week in, week out. It's been a little while since I've talked to you because of unfortunate circumstance and the like, but I cannot believe week in, week out how much pace you have in that 93 machine. It seems like it's just on another planet sometimes. How are you able to make that happen every single week?
Well, here specifically, we ran our a big late model race here about month and a half ago, and I put in about 500 laps for that race. So here I was knew what to expect and knew how the car was going to drive because I believe it was the same setup that we ran tonight. So, but I mean, just overall, I think it just is. It's just making laps, getting consistent laps, not necessarily every day, but good portions throughout the week. I think I've run something since like October, something like 15,000 laps, and just from all sorts of cars, and it's a lot, and it's honestly starting to take its toll on me a little bit. But the practice is what matters. Just making laps. Um, I've learned a lot from these. Just the short track series in general, the supers and the modifieds when we run those. You got to drive these cars way different than anything else you drive, because they're on the edge all the time, and it's a blast. It's fun to be on the edge, but it's just uh, you got to be able to. From what I found, is you got to be able to run into these corners, relatively far, and keep the tires under you, and be able to continue to run that throughout the entirety of the run.
Well, very well spoken, and we could see a lot of that coming into tonight. I did want to mention you had a very, very good battle with David Payton. What was going through your mind? Because if you can remember that far back, because it was probably about early on to about halfway through the race, and seemed to try and make a move on him quite a number of times and just couldn't get around him. Was that playing on your mind a bit, knowing that Hayden Swank, especially the driver just behind you in points, was also making his way through the field just behind you?
The battle I had with Dave, I definitely had to once Hayden got into my relative a little bit. It was sort of more of a get up and go time. But I didn't want to get, stick a nose there unless I had a, unless my spotter told me I was inside or outside, well before the corner. So there's a few times I had to back out of it, but I that's okay because patience is really a virtue for these short track races. And then I think Dave just got I can't remember if Dave got the wall, or I just got a better run out on one of the corners. But I got under him and then about lost it once I got by him. The right rear was definitely hot after that, but it was a fun battle. The high side, surprisingly tonight, had a lot more grip and a lot more of a passing ability than I thought it did. Even the last time I ran here, so it was really cool to be able to run multiple lanes and multiple grooves. But yeah, I know Dave's battling for points too. I think him and Chuck were tied going into this week, so I know that he's got a points battle as well. I think it gained a little bit back on Hayden tonight with the run I had, but still quite the close race for the championship this season, and then Hayden's pushing me to get to higher levels of my ability, and I'm sure I'm pushing him to get higher on his ability too. But it's been fun. This is one of the most fun points battles I've been a part of in the league as a whole, and in quite a long time, just in general. And yeah, it's a little stressful, but it's been such a blast this season.
All right, sounds good, Andrew. We'll let you go. So fantastic speaking to you, and I I mean, I say this to almost every driver, admittedly, but I have zero doubt in my mind that I will be talking to you again before the season is over. So, Andrew, who would you like to give thanks for this second place finish here tonight? Sponsors, family, friends, your call, my friend.
First and foremost, thank you, Gareth and Team Goon Squad, for calling these races and broadcasting these races. As always, you guys do put on a really good show, and have really appreciated you guys sticking with us for as long as you guys have. Huge shout out to Tanner for putting on the league, putting on the series. It gets better every season, and I think this is the best one yet. Huge shout out to all my partners: QuickTime Motorsports Media, Ryco Performance, Hall Metal Fab, Citrus Hat Sawn Mower, V&H Fresh. Um, Huge shout out to my parents and grandparents for supporting me in all my forms of racing. And last but certainly not least, huge shout out to all the fans that come out and support not only the broadcast but the league in the series. You guys taking time out of your day means a lot, and I'm glad that we can put on a show for you guys.
All right, very well spoken, Andrew. Thank you very much, and have a good rest of your night, my friend.
Yep, thank you. You too.
All right, that was Andrew Payne bringing it home in second position. We're going to have a chat to the man, the myth, the legend, Ron Hart, bringing him to the booth. Ron, g'day, good evening, how's it going?
Hey, happy Australia Day.
Thank you very much. We've got a lot of that coming in tonight, so thank you very much. And but this isn't about Australia Day. This isn't about me. This is about you. So first and foremost, got a new paint job on that car.
Yeah, man, trying some things out. We run our street stock in real life up here in Michigan and trying some schemes out to see what we want to make it look like this year for the summer season.
All right. Well, I tell you what, it looks very very angry. Uh, those orange headlights are really stand out, and yeah, it looks very aggressive coming through the field. It's almost like get out of my way. I'm in a rush.
That was the point, man. First few weeks of the year, we got run into a lot and got taken out of some wins, so needed something maybe to get people out of the way so we could get through there.
Well, uh, certainly it looked like everything kind of panned your way this race. I mean, it was absolute chaos. You've got to take us through that pass for the lead because we missed it live. We went back, we watched it in the replay just briefly, and that was absolute chaos. How did you manage to? Did you just time it to like, okay, there's everything going on. I'm gonna make this move now, or was it just you just made the move as normal and everything else just happened around you and you just happened to be in front of the time?
Yeah, I mean, Chuck Darling running a good race. I think he's probably the best car, and just kind of held up behind Devin there. And he made a good move to go to the outside of Devin. And I don't know if Devin didn't see him, but put him in the fence. And when those two got together, kind of killed their momentum and just kind of opened the bottom up and was able to take advantage of it. So it was nice to be able to pass two cars in one shot and not have to burn the tire up that it normally takes to pass. So I think that helped put us in a good position there and really didn't ever go 100% to the last 10 laps probably because we are going to use so much tire tonight, 100 laps on one set. And as old and bumpy as this place is, we really slowed down as the night went on. So it was definitely a blessing to be able to get them without using tire.
Well, I tell you what, that seemed to be quite a bit of a call really for a lot of the drivers I've been talking to. They were saying that really this track it did come down to saving those tires, and that obviously seems to be a big thing. But did you find that that changed a lot with the sun was quite high up and really heavy in turns 3 and 4, and then towards the later end of the race in 1 and 2, and then kind of a lot of shade coming around turn 3? That change how you drove those corners, or did you just drive through there and make it stick?
No, I mean a little bit of it. You kind of know going in 100 laps, a big track like this, as bumpy as it is, you're gonna have to save tires no matter what the weather is. But I mean, I think it helps out. You know, Andrew, Nick, myself all have real world racing experience, so we've all done it before and saved tires in real life, and you know, it definitely transfers over here. It's easy to go 100% for 100 laps, but you're not going to be very fast if you do that. So you got to kind of conserve and be smart about it the first half or three quarters of the race to have something really to run up front at the end.
All right, Ron. Well, we're certainly going to learn something from you if no one else has in the spectator area. I certainly have because I'm one of those people that just goes 100% all the time, and then I wonder why am I losing so many spots at the end. But yeah, so definitely something I've got to work on myself. But hey, Ron, this is all about you, so I will let you go and enjoy. Maybe pop a bottle of champagne or however you want to celebrate this one. But fantastic second win, and who would you like to give a shout out for it? Really?
Um, Thanks to Tanner and all the guys putting on this league. It's been a lot of fun this year. You know, we have a lot of good guys that race up front, and we can beat and bang a little bit, but we can also have some clean races like tonight, and that was fun. I know my old man's watching again tonight, so appreciate him working on a real car and look forward to getting that ready to go here a couple more months away. And then got to thank you, Garrett, for spending your Australia day here with us. You need to get off this and go celebrate yourself.
Oh, don't worry, I will do. I'll be having a big barbie going on. Don't worry. But with the fam. But yeah, no, I love talking to you guys and seeing you guys race. And this is exactly how I wanted to spend my Australia Day, mate. It's been a fantastic one, and can't wait to see you and all the guys back next week as you go to Worldwide Technology Raceway at Gateway. Say that 5 times. So just, I guess, I know you've already shouted out people, but just one final comment I would like from you. What do you think of Gateway? Because I know that's a very oddly shaped sort of oval with one side being quite tight and the other side very, very wide open.
It'll be a challenge, Garrett. I don't even own the track on iRacing. Never made a lap there. I probably watched a race or two there if I can remember it, but I don't ever get on here too early. So we'll buy the thing about 15 minutes for the race next week, and we'll make a couple laps, and we'll go at it from the back and see how far up there we can get.
All right, well, Ron, with your pace, I wouldn't be surprised to see you near the front regardless, but definitely try and get a couple laps in because that place is absolutely crazy. Um, it's just, yeah, I shouldn't say anything bad about it, but I don't have much else to say. Uh, so yeah, but yeah, it is what it is. So we will catch you later on. I will actually end this interview properly, and have a great night once again, and enjoy your time off until next week.
Will do, man. Thank you.
Right, that was Ron Hart, your race winner, going to celebrate and enjoy this win that he has rightfully deserved here tonight, here at Five Flags in Florida. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'll try and bring up your results. We've had an issue with that before, but see if this works this time by. And of course, we're going to be proven wrong once again, but get this going for you very quick so you can see just there on the tower exactly where your favorite driver, person you're cheering on, has finished. I'd like to thank everyone for joining us this broadcast once again. AdvantageAuctions.com as well for coming on board for the American Sim Racing Club's Super Late Model Tour. And we will see you all next week at Gateway. Thank you very much for tuning in. See you then.